Welcome to Prague, the enchanting capital of Czechia and one of Europe's most beautiful cities. With its fairy tale architecture, medieval streets, Gothic spires, and rich history spanning more than 1,000 years, Prague offers visitors an unforgettable journey through time. During our 2-day adventure, we'll explore iconic landmarks, hidden gems, historic monuments, and some of the most fascinating stories that shape this remarkable city. Join us as we discover why Prague is known as the City of 100 Spires. If you only have 2 days in Prague, we suggest getting a hotel in the Old Town area so you have all the major attractions within walking distance for both days. From Old Town, take Mánes Bridge across the Vltava River towards Lesser Town. Completed in 1914, Mánes Bridge connects Prague's Old Town with the Lesser Town district and provides a direct route to Prague Castle. Named after Czech painter and illustrator Josef Mánes, the bridge was built during a period when Prague was rapidly modernizing in the years before World War I. Unlike the medieval Charles Bridge, Mánes Bridge reflects the engineering and architectural styles of the early 20th century, featuring a clean and elegant design that emphasizes functionality over decoration. After walking across Mánes Bridge, we head up to Prague Castle, towering above the Vltava River and dominating Prague's skyline. Covering nearly 70,000 square meters, Prague Castle is recognized as the largest coherent ancient castle complex in the world. For over 11 centuries, this remarkable site has been the seat of Czech kings, Holy Roman emperors, and modern presidents. But Prague Castle isn't just a single castle, it's an entire city of palaces, churches, courtyards, gardens, and historic buildings contained within massive walls. Most visitors enter from the west side near the famous castle gates, but today we're taking a different route. We're entering from the quieter eastern side and walking through the castle exactly as many residents and locals experience it. Our journey begins at the Black Tower. Built during the 12th century and later modified over the centuries, the tower formed part of Prague Castle's eastern defenses. Just beyond the Black Tower lies one of Prague Castle's most charming attractions, Golden Lane. These tiny, colorful houses were built against the castle walls during the 16th century. Originally occupied by castle guards, craftsmen, and goldsmiths, the lane became a small community within the castle complex. Leaving Golden Lane behind, we arrive at one of Prague's oldest surviving buildings, St. George's Basilica. Founded around the year 920, this church predates most of the surrounding castle structures. Its simple Romanesque architecture offers a fascinating contrast to the elaborate Gothic buildings we'll soon encounter. Next up is Rosenberg Palace. Built in the Renaissance style during the 16th century, it was once one of the most luxurious noble residences in Prague. Later, the palace served as an educational institution for unmarried noblewomen, providing them with housing and education within the safety of the castle grounds. Suddenly, the towering spires of St. Vitus Cathedral rise above us. This masterpiece is the spiritual heart of the Czech Republic and the most important building within Prague Castle. Inside are the tombs of kings, queens, saints, and Holy Roman emperors. The magnificent St. Wenceslas Chapel marks the resting place of Czechia's patron saint and remains one of the most sacred locations in the country. We now enter the third courtyard, the symbolic center of Prague Castle and the old royal palace. For centuries, coronations, state ceremonies, and historic events have unfolded here beneath the shadow of St. Vitus Cathedral. This was the seat of Bohemian kings for centuries and one of the most important political centers in Central Europe. The fountain and statue of St. George have stood in the castle courtyard for centuries, symbolizing the triumph of good over evil. St. George, depicted slaying a dragon, was a popular medieval symbol of courage, faith, and the defense of Christian values. Continuing westward, we enter the second courtyard. This area reflects many of the Baroque renovations carried out during Habsburg rule. The elegant Kohl's fountain and surrounding architecture reveal how Prague Castle evolved from a medieval fortress into a royal residence fit for emperors. Our journey through Prague Castle concludes in the first courtyard, the ceremonial entrance to Prague Castle. Here, visitors are greeted by the famous castle guards, standing watch before the grand palace facade, and the wrestling titans, depicting powerful mythological giants engaged in an intense struggle. Dominating the courtyard is Matthias Gate, completed in 1614, named after Holy Roman Emperor Matthias. This ornate Baroque gateway is the oldest surviving part of the castle's western entrance. Just west of Matthias Gate is Schwarzenberg Palace. With its striking black and white Renaissance facade, Schwarzenberg Palace is one of the most beautiful buildings in Prague Castle district, and today houses part of the National Gallery Prague's collection of European and Czech art. Standing in Vyšehrad Square, just steps from the entrance to Prague Castle, is the Marian Column, one of the castle district's most impressive Baroque monuments. Created during the 18th century, the column is crowned by a statue of the Virgin Mary, surrounded by statues of important Czech saints. Together they reflect the deep religious traditions that shaped Prague during the Baroque era. Overlooking the rooftops of Prague near Strahov Monastery, Hotel Questenberg occupies a beautifully restored 17th century Baroque building and offers some of the most picturesque views in the city. The Church of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary has been the spiritual heart of Strahov Monastery since the 12th century, featuring a blend of Romanesque origins, Gothic elements, and a magnificent Baroque interior. Looking over Prague from Strahov Monastery, a sea of red rooftops stretches toward the horizon. The winding Vltava River cuts through the city below, while church spires, towers, and historic landmarks rise above the skyline. Surrounding the monastery are historic gardens, vineyards, and walking paths that have been part of this hillside landscape for centuries. These green spaces provide a peaceful contrast to the bustling city below. Next stop is the Lennon Wall. What began as a simple tribute to John Lennon evolved into a symbol of freedom and peaceful resistance during the communist era. Today, the Lennon Wall remains covered with colorful artwork, messages of hope, and expressions of creativity from visitors around the world. Hidden among Prague's winding medieval streets is one of the city's most unusual attractions, Vinarna Čertovka, a tiny alleyway so narrow that pedestrians can't pass each other. What makes this narrow lane truly unique isn't just its size, it's the fact that it has actual traffic lights for pedestrians. Often called Prague's most romantic district, Kampa Island offers charming riverside walks, picturesque canals, hidden gardens, and peaceful views away from the city's busiest tourist areas. On Kampa Island is Miminka. Created by renowned Czech artist David Černý, these giant crawling baby sculptures are among Prague's most unusual attractions. Their surreal appearance makes them one of the city's most photographed modern artworks. Located in lesser town, Liechtenstein Palace showcases elegant Baroque architecture and has hosted numerous cultural and diplomatic events throughout its history. Let's head back over the Vltava River across Charles Bridge into Old Town. One of Prague's most iconic landmarks, Charles Bridge spans the Vltava River and connects the Old Town with the lesser town. Built in the 14th century under Charles IV, the bridge is lined with magnificent Baroque statues and offers some of the city's most breathtaking views, especially at sunrise and sunset. Construction began in 1357 under the orders of King Charles IV, one of the most important rulers in Czech history. Charles Bridge replaced an earlier crossing known as Judith Bridge, which was destroyed by flooding in 1342. For centuries, Charles Bridge was the only bridge across the Vltava River in Prague, making it a vital link for merchants, travelers, kings, and armies. One of the bridge's most distinctive features is its collection of 30 statues and sculptural groups that line both sides of the walkway. Most were added between the 17th and 18th centuries and depict saints and important religious figures. The statues you see today are largely replicas, while many of the originals have been preserved in museums to protect them from weather and pollution. Prague Castle is especially stunning at sunset, when the illuminated walls, towers, and soaring spires of St. Vitus Cathedral glow above the Vltava River like a scene from a fairy tale. The magnificent Rudolfinum, home of the Czech Philharmonic, has been a center of music and culture for more than a century and remains one of Prague's most celebrated concert venues. Here is some Prague history. Prague grew as the capital of the Kingdom of Bohemia and became one of Central Europe's most important cities. Under the Holy Roman Empire, especially during the reign of Emperor Charles IV in the 14th century, Prague flourished as a center of culture, trade, religion, and education. Charles University, founded in 1348, remains one of Europe's oldest universities. By the late 1800s, Prague was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and had become an important industrial and cultural center. Although the Treaty of Trianon primarily affected Hungary, the breakup of Austria-Hungary after World War I resulted in the creation of Czechoslovakia in 1918. Prague became the capital of the new democratic republic and experienced rapid growth, modernization, and economic prosperity throughout the 1920s and 1930s. Following Nazi occupation during World War II, Prague was liberated in 1945. Soon afterward, Czechoslovakia fell under Soviet influence and became a communist state. The city remained behind the Iron Curtain for decades. Despite political repression, Prague preserved much of its historic architecture because it escaped the widespread wartime destruction seen in many European capitals. The Velvet Revolution of 1989 peacefully ended communist rule. Following the dissolution of Czechoslovakia in 1993, Prague became the capital of the independent Czech Republic. Since then, Prague has emerged as one of Europe's premier tourist destinations and a thriving center for business, culture, and education. Prague covers approximately 496 square kilometers and is home to around 1.4 million residents. It's smaller than capitals such as London, Paris, and Berlin, but larger than capitals like Bratislava and Ljubljana. Despite its relatively compact size, Prague offers an incredible concentration of historical landmarks, making it one of the most walkable and visitor-friendly capitals in Europe. Day 2 starts in Old Town. Stepping into Prague Old Town feels like entering a medieval storybook. Cobblestone streets wind between colorful buildings, bustling cafes, and centuries-old churches. At the heart of the district stands Old Town Square, where visitors gather to admire the famous astronomical clock and soak in the atmosphere that has captivated travelers for generations. After walking through centuries-old streets, the sheer openness of Old Town Square is striking. Colorful Baroque, Gothic, and Renaissance buildings surround the plaza on all sides, creating an architectural showcase unlike anywhere else in Europe. On one side rises the dramatic Gothic church of Our Lady Before Teen, whose twin spires have become one of Prague's most recognizable symbols. On another stands Old Town Hall, which has stood since the 14th century. Crowds still gather every hour to watch the medieval clock's animated procession. Standing beside the Old Town Hall is one of the most beautiful yet often overlooked buildings in Prague's Old Town Square, the House at the Minute. At first glance, it may look like just another historic building, but take a closer look and you'll discover one of the finest examples of Renaissance architecture in the city. Towering above Prague's Old Town Square is one of the city's most recognizable landmarks, the Church of Our Lady Before Teen. With its dramatic twin Gothic spires reaching nearly 80 meters, the church has dominated Prague's skyline for more than 600 years and looks like something straight out of a fairy tale. Many visitors are surprised to learn that Prague has two major churches named St. Nicholas and are often confused. However, they're very different churches with different histories, purposes, and appearances. One is in Lesser Town, and the St. Nicholas Church on Old Town Square is the smaller of the two. The original church on this site dates back to the 13th century, although the current Baroque structure was built in the 1730s. On one of the side streets from Prague's Old Town Square lies one of the city's most unexpected attractions, a museum where scrap metal becomes extraordinary art. This is the Gallery of Steel Figures. Located on Cheletna Street, one of Prague's oldest and most historic roads, the Gallery of Steel Figures offers a completely different experience from the city's medieval churches and centuries-old landmarks. Instead of Gothic architecture and royal history, visitors discover a world built entirely from recycled steel and automotive parts. Inside, more than 100 sculptures fill 2 floors of exhibition space. Every piece is handcrafted from discarded metal parts, including gears, chains, bolts, engine components, and motorcycle parts. Visitors will even recognize steel versions of superheroes, movie characters, animals, robots, and fantasy creatures that you can touch, and even full-size vehicles that you can climb into. Once part of Prague's medieval fortifications, the Powder Tower served as one of the city's original gates. Its dark Gothic appearance and rich history make it one of the most recognizable structures in Prague. Nicknamed Fred and Ginger, the dancing house stands out dramatically among Prague's historic architecture. Designed by Frank Gehry and Vlado Milanic, it symbolizes Prague's post-communist transformation and embrace of modern design. Nearby is the National Memorial to the heroes of the Heydrich Terror. This powerful memorial honors the Czech resistance fighters who carried out Operation Anthropoid, the mission that assassinated Nazi leader Reinhard Heydrich during World War II. The site offers a moving reminder of extraordinary courage and sacrifice. Visitors can still see bullet marks and evidence of the fierce final battle that took place here in June 1942. Standing in the crypt where the resistance fighters made their last stand is a powerful and emotional experience, offering a poignant reminder of the cost of freedom and the extraordinary bravery shown in the face of overwhelming odds. Then we walked up to Vyšehrad Castle. Perched high above the Vltava River, Vyšehrad Castle is steeped in legend and history. Many Czech myths trace their origins here, and the fortress offers stunning panoramic views while providing a quieter alternative to Prague Castle. Located within the Vyšehrad complex, the Vyšehrad Cemetery serves as the final resting place of many of Czechia's most influential artists, composers, writers, and national heroes. It's both peaceful and deeply significant to Czech cultural identity. The striking neo-Gothic towers of Saints Peter and Paul Basilica dominate the Vyšehrad skyline. Inside, visitors discover beautiful frescoes, intricate decoration, and one of Prague's most impressive religious interiors. Looking north from here, between the trees, you can see Prague Castle in the distance. And looking south, you can see the rest of Prague and the Vltava River. Standing proudly at the top of Wenceslas Square, the National Museum showcases Czech history, science, art, and culture. Its grand architecture alone makes it one of Prague's most impressive landmarks. Next to the National Museum is the new National Museum, which hosts contemporary exhibitions and interactive displays that complement the country's historical collections. The statue of Saint Wenceslas, located in Wenceslas Square, serves as one of Prague's most important meeting points. The beloved patron saint of Czechia symbolizes national pride and resilience. Wenceslas Square, or Václavské Námestie, is more of a boulevard than a traditional square. Wenceslas Square has witnessed some of the most significant events in Czech history, including demonstrations during the Velvet Revolution of 1989. Next up is the House of the Black Madonna. This remarkable building is one of the world's finest examples of Cubist architecture. Its unique design highlights Prague's important contribution to modern artistic movements. Another beautiful viewpoint rising above the city is Vítkov Hill. This location offers spectacular city views and is home to the National Monument and one of the world's largest equestrian statues. This site commemorates important moments in Czech history and independence. From Vítkov Hill, we head back to Old Town. As night falls over Old Town Square, the crowds thin and the historic facades glow under soft golden light, revealing a quieter, more atmospheric side of Prague where every spire, tower, and cobblestone feels timeless. Our journey through Prague revealed why this magical city consistently ranks among Europe's most beloved destinations. From medieval castles and Gothic bridges to modern art and moving memorials, Prague offers something for every traveler. Today, Prague welcomes approximately 7 to 8 million international visitors annually, making it one of Europe's most visited cities. The best times to visit are spring, from April through June, and autumn, from September through October, when temperatures are pleasant and crowds are smaller. Winter transforms Prague into a festive wonderland with Christmas markets, while summer brings vibrant outdoor events and longer daylight hours. Whether you're fascinated by history, architecture, culture, or simply beautiful cityscapes, Prague is a destination that belongs on every traveler's bucket list. If you've enjoyed exploring Prague with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more adventures around the world. Until next time, safe travels.